Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? And welcome to another episode of Chatterboxer. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whatever time it is where you are, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget, before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video and everything, guys. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining the stream today. Hope everyone is blessed. Hope everything is cool. Of course, guys. Look, let's get straight into some Manchester United news. But where else to start but some transfer news in regards to Manchester United. Manchester United are looking at striker, 23-year-old Argentine striker, Joaquin Panicelli. Joaquin Panicelli is a centre forward who currently plays for Strasbourg in France. So he's valued at about 12 million euros. He's quite prolific. I think he's got 12 games this season, 9 goals. Man United are looking at him. He's valued at 12 million, so it's not going to break the bank. Joaquin Panicelli, 23-year-old Argentine playing for Strasbourg in France. He is valued at 12 million centre forward. Man United have been scouting this player, and it is a player that, we have. This is the first time I mentioned his name on Stretford Post, of course. So that's interesting. It's interesting. It's a new player. It's a new player off the conveyor belt, of course, guys. Very, very, very interesting. It just goes to show you where Man United are looking at the moment. Look, Man United are stuck between a hard place and a rock at the moment because we're looking at strikers, we're looking at midfield, we're looking at attackers, but we also need midfield situations sorted out as well. Most importantly, some may argue that the midfield is the most important thing at the moment. We shouldn't be looking at centre forwards, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword for Man United, really, isn't it? Because we've got the AFCON coming up, and we have to fix that attack, considering that Bremo and Ahmed are going to be out. So Man United really and truly do need a striker in there. At the moment, have Man United got a striker, considering that Sesko is going to be out for 3 weeks to a month, something like that? Sesko is going to be out for 3 weeks to a month. So when we're looking at that, do Man United need a striker? Do they need to get someone in who could put the ball in the back of the net and hold up the play, or just add as a little bit of extra weight for the squad? Should they? Now, Joaquin Panicelli, 23-year-old Argentinian, linked to Man United, Strasbourg, prolific, 9 goals, 12 games for Strasbourg, of course. Very, very interesting developments going on there, of course. Now, some people may have mentioned him in the stream last week and this week as well. His name is Thiago Santo. Thiago Santo is a Portuguese 23-year-old right back who currently is playing in Portugal. Portuguese right back, Thiago Santo, of course. He's also wanted by a number of clubs, including Real Madrid, guys. Including Real Madrid do want him, and Barcelona, guys, and Barcelona. So that does mean that he's got something about him. He currently plays for Lille in France, and he's a generational, playing very well as that on that right position. Now, that would be a perfect signing for Man United. I liken this signing to the likes of Van der Sar, because Man United need that right winger, that right midfielder in there, right wing back, you may say, because obviously we're very thin on the ground when it gets to wing backs at the moment, and our system does rely heavily on wing backs, of course, guys. So we got 2 players there, Joaquin Panicelli, Thiago Santo, 23-year-old Portuguese Lille player, valued at around 15 million euros. So I'm telling you this right now, guys. There are players out there that we could pick up for a lot more cheaper than, your norm players that we've been linked to, of course. He's a right back, right winger, and right midfielder. So he would fit that right wing back position absolutely perfectly, guys, in my opinion. And Thiago Santo, lots of noise going about in the community, has mentioned him a number of times. Good player, and it's a player that I'm glad we are looking at the moment, guys. And that's 2 players that I've mentioned just off the cuff at the start of Stretford Post, of course, guys. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're feeling about that, guys. 2 players that I would say would be a January signings, a couple of January signings. And that's very important because we need the January signings. We need players in January. We do need those players in January. And obviously, Thiago Santo, I would say, should be a priority, having that right side solidified, so to speak, for a cheaper price in regards to how much it's going to cost. 15 million euros, probably would cost a little bit more because obviously the British tax, not the British tax, Man United tax and stuff like that, probably might cost a little bit more. But Thiago Santo, 23-year-old Portuguese, right back, right wing, right midfielder. So that is something to look at, of course, guys. Something we're going to go forward with, of course, guys. So good to hear his name mentioned. Coincidentally, he was mentioned yesterday on the stream. Now, another player I spoke about yesterday, Kevin Filing, who currently plays for AIK in Greece. Absolutely. Sweden under 21 international centre forward, wanted by Dortmund. Now, guys, this is where the middleman comes in, isn't it? It's where the middleman comes in. We need to get these players before the likes of Dortmund get them. And when Dortmund sign them, then they're going to get good. They're going to score a few goals in the Bundesliga. And then everyone's going to be talking about, oh, we didn't get Kevin Filing. Well, whilst we had an opportunity to get Kevin Filing. But Kevin Filing is looking likely to sign for Manchester United. It looks like he will go to Manchester United. He's very, very interested in signing for Manchester United. Not only him, Keith Smith. We all know about Keith Smith. We've spoken about Keith Smith a number of times on Stretford Post. The Manchester United project attracts Keith Smith. Now, Keith Smith is not only wanted by Manchester United, of course, he's also wanted by other players around, other teams around Europe as well. But Keith Smith is very interested in coming to Manchester United. So that is something to play by ear, of course. And these are all players that, what attracts me about these players that I'm mentioning now, these players are not superstar names. They're not like got the shirt sellers. They're not the shirt sellers. They're players that will give their all. Well, we hope so for Man United. We've hoped that they've been scouted to the effect that they'll give their all for Manchester United, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me just read some of your comments out in the stream, guys. Big up everyone. I hope everyone is blessed, of course. Big up Stephanie. Thank you so much, Steph. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Peace and blessings, RJ. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Sal, I think KONE is ready. Big up, my friend. I'm going to get into that. Sal, I think Rivals actually worried about us. I think so as well. I mean, I do get the impression that they are worried about us. I don't think they like Man United very much. And I think that, Sal, I feel of Arsenal won't want to be serious. They should sign Semenyo. Let's wait and see. Good evening, Sal. Do you think Amorim will give a chance to Academy at this time? I think he should, Ephraim. I think he really should. Now, let's get into Seko KONE. Seko KONE scored a couple of goals for the under-23 Mali team yesterday. So very, very good news for Seko KONE. Now, it's been a while since Seko KONE signed for Man United. Of course, he's had these injury problems and stuff like that, but he's really starting to shine. Should Manchester United give an opportunity to him before we splash out a lot of money on midfielders? Now, I'm not talking about, we should just ignore Anderson, we should ignore Wharton and players like that and just put KONE in there. He's going to be great. We can't risk that. But what Man United should do, Man United should bring in KONE. They should bring in KONE, play him for a little while, play him, see how he does. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. I don't think it does any harm. I really don't. If we're winning the game 2-3-0, there's no harm in bringing Seko KONE on in that midfield. And as we saw from the friendlies during the summer when we played Hong Kong and an Asian All-Stars team, we saw that, you know what? This player's got an ability. He's got an ability, just like Mentato and stuff like that. I know friendlies are different, but how do we know unless we give these players a chance? So even if we give them a few minutes, like I said, give them a few minutes, let's see how they do. The Seko KONE is killing it at the moment at the under-23s. I know it's only under-23s. That's true. But you know what? He can only do what is in front of him. He can only beat what's in front of him, and he can only impress. And that is impressive. And you know what? We have to move it up a level now. Let's see how he does here in the first team squad. Let's see how he does in training. Let's see what Ruben Amorim thinks about him. Do you know what I mean? And let's see where we go from there, of course. Ephraim, big up Ephraim, big up RJ. Semenyo fits the 4-3 like the Liverpools and Arsenal. Yeah, I mean, I do think that, Kenny. Big up my friend Lee. Good evening, Sal. Good evening, Kenny. Hope you're doing well. I do agree with Kenny here. I think that he would fit Arsenal and Liverpool much more effectively than Manchester United. He really would. I wouldn't like Semenyo to go to Arsenal. Let me just say that. I wouldn't like him to go to Arsenal. I wouldn't like him to go to Liverpool, to be fair. I don't think Liverpool need him. Liverpool have already spent $500 million. I mean, what do they want? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I mean, they're just throwing money away. But Arsenal, I wouldn't want him to go there. I think it would improve their team, absolutely amazingly improve their team. And I don't want Arsenal to improve. I'll be honest with you. I don't want Arsenal to improve. I would like Arsenal not to sign Semenyo. I would like Semenyo to go abroad, to be fair, like Elise did. That would be nice. But yeah, look, I don't think Man United are going to go in after Semenyo. He is valued at $65 million, although he is having negotiations with Bournemouth in regards to a new contract, guys. He's in contract negotiations with Bournemouth, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up Stephanie. Big up yourself. Glory Man United. Good to see you, Steph. Hope you're doing well. Sal, big up GCTV 91. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Big up yourself. Hope everything is blessed with you. I hope Amorim has some second thoughts about KONE. I'm kind of desperate not to see Bruno in the midfield, to be honest. I am the same as you, Kenny. I'm in the same boat as you. Now, there was a lot of revisionism. I wouldn't say revisionism about Bruno, but I would say a lot of overreacting in regards to Bruno's performance against Armenia in the in the World Cup qualifiers, of course. And we all know that Armenia are not any better than a National League side. And I don't care what Bruno does for Portugal. I want to be totally frank with you guys. I want to be totally Frank Butcher with you guys. I don't care what Bruno does for Portugal. I don't. I want Bruno not to run into blind alleys against Tottenham. I want Bruno to put his penalty away, not his penalty away against Armenia, against Fulham. I want Bruno not to give away the ball against Manchester City. I want Bruno to perform for Manchester United. I don't care about what happens at Portugal. I'm not bothered about that. Obviously, international football is completely different. International football is slower, and you've got teams like Armenia who lose in 9s and 10s. You know what I mean? So I don't really believe in all this hype and stuff like that. Absolutely not. Big up, Christian. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Afternoon, Sal. I did ask you about KONE last week, but you said that you think he should go on loan. But we know he's our midfield fix. Christian, he's not our midfield fix yet, and I do believe he should go on loan. But I'm thinking in the basis of the AFCON at the moment. Can Man United afford to put anyone on loan at the moment? No, we possibly couldn't, because if Mainu goes, who we got? Who we got in that midfield if Mainu goes? And there is a lot of talk about Mainu goes. We've only got KONE, and that's what we have to understand here. I personally don't think KONE is ready. He's not our midfield fix. How do you know that? Have you seen him play for Man United first team? Have you seen something that we've all not recognised? I watch youth football, Christian. I don't know if you watch youth football. I watch a lot of youth football. And he's a little bit lightweight. He's lightweight for that midfield position. And you know what? But he's technically gifted. Now, Man United, if they do lose Kobbie Mainoo, we're going to be in a bit of a pickle, right? We're not going to have anyone, right, to play unless it is KONE. So you have to think about that. Do you know what I mean? You have to think about that, not just, I said this because I said that. In my opinion, I've said this, I've said a lot of things at the end of the day. But the thing is that if he's good enough, he's old enough, but at the moment, he's a little bit lightweight for the Premier League. When you're looking at the other Premier League midfielders, he's a little bit skinny, I would say. And he does need to build a little bit of muscle mass. He does. And I would say that. However, he's got the ability, the potential. It would have been ideal if we could have put KONE on loan, because I think that's what he needs. Just like Chido Obi-Martin. I think he needs that. Do you know what I mean? I think he needs that loan. I do, because it adds a little bit of experience. It adds a little bit of strength in him. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, look, I come from a generation of great midfielders at Man United. Is KONE there yet? I don't think so yet. But at the end of the day, what I would say is that should we just give him an opportunity? Should we put him in the first team squad? I'm not saying play him. Put him in the first team squad just in case. Just in case, guys, because you never know when we're going to need a midfielder. Our midfield is very, very thin at the moment. Jeremiah, what's going on, my friend? Are we doing well? Coach is doing. I sincerely don't think Amorim is planning on giving the academy chances yet. Because according to his recent interview, he's really big on the physicality aspect of the game. Look, this is a great comment from Jeremiah. Big up Jeremiah, by the way. Exactly what I've just been talking about. Ruben Amorim is looking at physicality, and it's very, very important in the Premier League. It's not just about throwing players in, throwing players there, and they're going to be a superstar. You can actually have the adverse effect when you throw players into the deep end. I've also heard that Ruben Amorim is trying to build a culture at the football club. What do I mean by culture? I mean by a winning mentality, a winning culture at the football club, something that we haven't had in a long time. Ruben Amorim is trying to build a winning mentality at the football club. He's trying to build a winning culture at the football club. And it's better to bring in a player like KONE or wherever it is, whether it is a JJ Gabriel, in an environment that we are winning rather than an environment that we've been underachieving, which we have been doing for many, many years. So it's going to take time for players to get used to, obviously, for Man United, should I say, to turn it around and become a winning mentality, to become a winning culture, a winning environment and things like that. Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, I do not want to see KONE as a striker. We will lose many things when we're... I agree, Ephraim. We're stuck in a bit of a bad place at the moment in regards to injuries. Obviously, Cunha's injured for 3 weeks. I mean, this is typical Man United luck at the end of the day. We're not going to cry about it. We're not Arsenal. Arsenal have been crying for flipping, it seems like forever, about Gabriel. You know what I mean? Cry. I mean, apparently they have a great squad. And then when they get one injury, they let the whole world know about it. That's Asna for you at the end of the day. But what I would say is this, right? I would say that, yeah, I don't want to see Cunha there. But I do believe it might be. Unfortunately, it will be Mason Mount, Cunha, and Mbeumo. I think that's what it might be. I mean, obviously, Mason Mount is back now, I believe. I think he's back from injury. So we'll have to wait and see, guys. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? We have got options. We can interchange, and Mbeumo can play up front, as Kenny just said. And Mbeumo can play up front, and obviously Cunha can play there as well. Look, you know, but I mean, I would like to give Xerxes one last try. Give Xerxes one last try. Let's see what Xerxes can do. Put Cunha, put Mbeumo, and put Xerxes up front. That's what I would do. I think that is what I would do, in my opinion. RJ, Sal, Dorgo was fantastic yesterday. You can see it. I mean, absolutely, guys. And then this is what I've been talking about. Don't over criticize players before they've even reached a certain age. Now, Dorgu's 20 years old, guys. Dorgu is 20 years old, and people have already thrown him under the bus. Beckham was at Preston North End at 20. Patrice Evra didn't even sign for Monaco at 20. So at the end of the day, we need to be a little bit more patient. He's a Denmark international now, guys. We got a player there. And I actually feel that Xerxes actually been playing well. I actually feel that Xerxes been one of our better players when he played against Nottingham Forest. When he came on the other day, he was brilliant. I think he balanced the team. We were much better with Xerxes on the pitch than without him. You know what I mean? I would say, absolutely. Absolutely. Big up, Kenny. Absolutely. And Bremo. I think most of us would like to see Xerxes and Cunha and Bremo work together. I would like to see that as well, Christine. I think why not give it a try? The only thing is that I think that Ruben Amorim is a little bit in a place where I don't want to take a risk. I want to take a risk, but I don't want to take a risk. I don't want to take a risk because I risk losing games and it might not work. Or I do want to take a risk because you know what, we can find a solution to our problems at the moment. I actually think Xerxes needs to be given a chance. I really do. I think he needs to be given a chance. I think in Bremo, Cunha, and Xerxes up front. And then when the AFCON happens, we can have Xerxes then. Xerxes can move into that number 10 role if we need be. Do you know what I mean? Or we could play Xerxes at that number 10. So, yeah, I agree with Christian here. Absolutely. I think that Xerxes does need to be given a little bit more opportunities. I think he needs to be given more chances in the team, of course, guys. Absolutely. Kenny, the Everton game will suit Xerxes' game. Yeah, we should be given a chance to start. I mean, last season we beat Everton 4-0. It was one of the highlights of the season. If you remember, we played Everton and it was one of the best performances we had all season. One of the highlights. Actually, thought we were back. We were back that time. I remember I was in a hotel. I was watching a game on the watch-along. Guys, absolutely. Le Mans could have took a nap yesterday, but it's great for Sonny Le Mans. Even though we was playing Liechtenstein, it was great for Sonny Le Mans to get a Belgian cap, of course, already a Belgian international. It will add to his experience, wouldn't it? It's great for him to be a full-time Belgium international now, isn't it? And what a 2 months for Sonny Le Mans. What a 2 months it's been for Sonny Le Mans. Beat Liverpool at Anfield, clean sheet on his debut, you know, Belgium international, Belgian cap, you know, I mean, absolutely brilliant for him, of course. Ephraim, spot on, Sal. I think we need to see Xerxes, Cunha, and then Bremo. We do, because we haven't seen it yet. And we know that Mason Mount, Cunha, and Bremo's okay. It works as like a balance sort of thing, sort of solidifies the midfield and things like that, makes it a bit more compact and that. But we need someone like Xerxes, because Xerxes, he's that type of player that needs that confidence to go forward. He needs that confidence to go forward. He's the type of player that can keep the ball, bring other players into play, you know, and act as like a false number 9 kind of thing. I think he'll be much better than that false number 9 than a Mason Mount, if, for example, or Cunha. And then you can still keep Cunha on the wing and then Bremo on the wing, you know. And also that will help us going forward in regards to the AFCON as well, because when the AFCON comes, we got Xerxes who's been playing games. So it'll be like, yeah, at least we got Xerxes who's been playing games and he's match fit, which is important rather than him not playing a game and then throwing him in the deep end when the AFCON comes around. Of course, Le Mans in bed, absolutely. There we go. But look, I'm glad Le Mans had a cap. I'm very, very pleased to send him Le Mans. It feels like he's like, you know what, I feel it more for sending Le Mans because obviously I mentioned sending Le Mans before it was even a thing to mention sending Le Mans. And I'm really glad that he's a full-time international already, guys. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, they're calling him the new Courtois, isn't it, in Belgium? Absolutely. I think that Xerxes will start on Monday. Who knows? You know, Ruben Amorim is very surprising with his selections, with his team selections. He does come up with some surprising selections, doesn't he? At the end of the day, Ruben Amorim. So you never know. But you know, my prediction would be, if I was a betting man, it would be Bruno and Casemiro with Xerxes, with Mason Mount there. But let's wait and see. I'm going to do my match preview. I think I'll do my match preview maybe on Thursday or Friday. I don't know. I might do it tomorrow. I might do it on Friday. We'll have to wait and see what happens, guys. Let's wait and see what goes on, of course, guys. Absolutely. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Ruben Amorim doesn't really, do what we think sometimes. He does come out of it and we go, what? All we know he's going to play someone completely different and play Mason Mount in the false number 9. Do you know what I mean? Which I think will be wrong. I think he does need to play Xerxes. Xerxes is more of an attacking player. We need players like that against Everton. We need to attack more against Everton. Everton are better than they were last season, but they're nowhere near where they need to be. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're nowhere near where they need to be. Ruben gets so many interviews, Sal. Call him the interview man. I mean, I don't know why he gives so many interviews. I don't think he should be giving interviews to Sky Sports and all that, especially the way they talk about him. It's disgraceful. I don't think they should be doing that with Ruben Amorim. I think Ruben Amorim should just say, look, I'm going to give my press conference and that's about it. I don't know whether he's being paid. I don't know whether they're paying the club. But you know what? These interviews are getting ridiculous. I do think so. Every 5 minutes, he's got an interview with Melissa Reddy or something like that. He's got an interview. And he just needs to calm down on his interviews a little bit. Do the press conference. Do the interview with MUTV, but you don't need to go around doing multiple interviews. You want to do an interview, come on Stretford Post. That would be one. Come on Stretford Post because we support you, Ruben Amorim. Come on Stretford Post and let's have a conversation on Stretford Post. That's what we should do. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ephraim, Sal, you are a better scout than United scout. You are the one who believed in Lemens. I credit to you. Thank you so much, Ephraim. Really appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for recognizing as well. Thank you, mate. Yeah, look, I do study football. I have worked in scouting in my lifetime as well. I do travel a lot, looking at players and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm pleased about it. I'm happy about it. I'm happy that he's an international now. When I mentioned him about a year and a half ago, I remember it very, very, very well. Sally Lemens, people saying, Sal, is there any goalkeepers out there that you would recommend? And I did say Sally Lemens, and people say, Sally Lemens, who's that? Sally Lemens, who's that? And they were like, we shouldn't sign another young goalkeeper, blah, blah, blah. Even when we were linked to him in the summer, people are like, we should get Emi Martinez. Let's get Emi Martinez, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm pretty sure that most of the community don't regret sending Lemens now. I'm pretty sure that most of the community are happy that we got sending Lemens now. Absolutely. He goes into, he's a very charismatic kind of character. He's a very likable kind of character. That's why I don't understand people dislike him. He's a very charismatic character. He's also very smart. I also believe he is a very, very good manager. I think he's very, very smart. And it is taking time for us to get to where we need to be. Hopefully we do get to where we need to be. But one thing is, right, guys, is that he knows what he's doing. We're seeing improvements. If you disagree about the improvements that we're seeing at Manchester United, then I think you have an agenda. I do actually think that Ruben Amorim is doing well. I do think he is proving things. So Tunford, of course. Kenny, as part of his contract, unfortunately, yeah, maybe. Big up, Kenny. Jeremy, I believe Xerxes should start up front against the return of Sesko. It will give us a different dynamic up front to dropping deep and giving us more bodies in the midfield. I agree, Jeremiah, absolutely. Jeremiah, you're on fire today, absolutely. I agree with Jeremiah here. I absolutely do agree with that. I think bringing in Xerxes into the team will give us a new dimension. It will give us more control in that middle bit between the midfield and the strikers. He can bring that ball from deep and bring that ball forward and obviously supplement Cunha and then Bremo as well. Obviously, Bremo and Cunha coming into the team. He can act as that sort of false number 9 thing, and do it well. Because we all know that Xerxes got great control on the ball. He does remind me of Berbatov when he plays well. He's very good at bringing players into the team, very skillful and stuff like that. And he can finish as well. You know what I mean? This is the thing with him. He's underrated. He can finish. So I think we do need to give him an opportunity. I think it's about time that we gave him an opportunity. Absolutely, guys. I really do. And I think that we need to look at other players as well. Just like I said, Sekou Kone, we need to give him even if it's 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, bring him into the team, give him some adult football, men's football. And then after that, he will start getting better. He will start getting stronger. He'll start getting stronger. And then eventually, who knows? We might have a player there. We might have a player there that we got for free. Well, not free, but I mean, do you know what I mean? We don't need to purchase many more midfielders. If Sekou Kone comes into the team and does absolutely fantastic, VTech as a backup for Lemens. Yeah, I would like that, Kenny. I do believe that VTech has said that he doesn't want to be a backup, though. So that is a bit of a stipulation there in regards to him. Very, very good goalkeeper. Doing very, very well, of course, guys. Absolutely. He's doing very, very well. So let's wait and see. Absolutely. Sal, no way Henderson gets picked for the World Cup. It should be Mainu. I know, RJ. We have to look at it from Thomas Tuchel's point of view, though. When we're looking at Thomas Tuchel and we're thinking about the team, he's looking at it on the basis that he hasn't played football, and he has a fair point. I would still put Mainu in my team absolutely all day long rather than Henderson. I think Henderson's a good character. I think that's why they got him in the squad in the first place. Good character, potential captain. But I just feel like we need to move on. England need to move on from the Hendersons of this world, these type of players of this world. England need to move on from that, in my opinion. They really do. And I think that we should bring in Mainu. But Mainu is not playing enough football. However, he may get an opportunity in the AFCON. He may get an opportunity in this coming weeks. Hopefully he does. guys, and hopefully he may get into the England squad eventually. But he hasn't been in the last few England squads, so it's going to be difficult now for him because obviously Tuchel's got his eye on his squad now. He's going to look at that squad and think, right, this is my squad, and he's going to be like, all right, no one else is going to come in this squad. It gets very difficult the further you get, the closer you get to the World Cup to break into that World Cup squad. It's not impossible, but obviously managers really generally don't change their mind, especially internationally when you're getting into a tournament, because they already trust the players that he's got. And Tuchel has built a very, very good balanced team that is winning football matches. Not only winning football matches, absolutely winning at a counter. And but I still believe that obviously Mainu has the ability to play in that midfield for England. I think he adds something different to the rest of the team. I think he can keep the ball and keep it ticking backwards and forwards. And I think that is disappointing that he hasn't got an amount of games that I would want. Is that Eden Wharton? Yes, he is my guy. Is it? Yeah, he should start over Henderson. Yeah, Henderson's on the bench, my friend. Henderson's on the bench. Ronaldo at the White House. Yeah, look, you know what? One thing I want about Ronaldo, I want Ronaldo to be real to himself. I want him to be real. I don't want him to go there and start butt licking Donald Trump. I want to stick to his philosophy on what he has believed in many, many years. I actually don't believe that Ronaldo should meet President Trump because what President Trump is. But anyway, never mind. Bring on the rigged World Cup now. Look, you know what? Yeah, look, we all know what happened in the World Cup last time, didn't we? Little handball from Messi and all that. We all know what happened there. It was completely sinister, I would say. Absolutely, it was completely sinister. And when I think about that World Cup, it annoys me because it was quite obvious that they wanted Messi to win the World Cup. It's quite obvious. They said it before the tournament that, we want Messi to win the World Cup. We want him to lift the World Cup in the Middle East and blah, blah, blah. And that is what they did, of course. Absolutely. Jordan Henderson is a washed up. I mean, I don't know how he's still in the England team, you know what I mean? But obviously they're looking at experience, isn't it? Tuchel's like thinking a little bit on the safe side. Although I think Tuchel should just put Mainu in there, you know what I mean? He doesn't have to play every single game, for goodness sake. But he should put Mainu in there because I think Mainu would be a better option. Or if you like, just get another younger player, because having Henderson there, what is Henderson? All right, Henderson's played for England for a while, but he hasn't really done anything for England. He's been part of a lot of losing teams, you know what I mean? Lost a few finals. I might as well invite Boogeyman at the whole. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, look, fair play to Cristiano Ronaldo. He's at the White House. I mean, I know that Piers Morgan organised that for him and everything like that. I mean, if I was Cristiano Ronaldo, the only thing is what I don't want. I haven't watched it because I know it's going to be cringe. I'm not a big fan of, obviously, Donald Trump. So I know it's going to be cringe. I want Ronaldo to believe what he believes in. Obviously, Ronaldo is very pro, politically. I don't want to go too much into politically, but he's very pro what he believes in. And I want Ronaldo to stick to his philosophy and stick to his beliefs. And I didn't want him to go to the White House, to be honest, but, it is what it is. You know what Piers Morgan's like. Piers Morgan's stuck up the backside of Donald Trump, of course, guys, absolutely. So it's just the way it is. But, yeah. England needs some better centre-backs coming through. They've got Gui. I think he's very good. I do believe they do need a couple more. I think that Konza he's all right. But the wing-backs are getting better. I mean, I do believe that. Obviously, Skelly is coming through as well, guys. There's a couple more. O'Reilly of Man City is coming through. He looks very good as well. So there are, but I do believe you're right, Samuel, that England do need a few more defenders coming through. Not only defenders, Samuel, but also strikers. But this is a problem that most teams in Europe are having now. There's not a great pool of strikers coming through at the moment. This is a big problem at the moment, guys. Absolutely. So he's popular than Trump. That is not surprising. So, he's popular. But I just hope that, he sticks to his philosophy and sticks to his guns. Absolutely. Big up, Bobby. What's going on, you legend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the stream. Hope everything is blessed with you guys. Absolutely. Good to see you. And thank you for supporting Stretford Post, every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. And big up, Bobby. Yeah, look, guys, there's going to be a lot of ins and outs, twists and turns in regards to this transfer window. Of course there is, guys. And, I'm looking forward to see what materializes in January. Hopefully that Ruben Amorim is backed. I really hope that. I hope he's back and we can go from there. But if he's not backed, then what can we say? That would just solidify my opinion that Ineos are not concentrating on what's good for the football team. They're concentrating on the business level, of course. So he needs to be backed. He should have been backed in the summer. The midfielder should have been brought in the summer. The wing back should have been brought up in the summer. The goalkeeper should have been brought in earlier. The goalkeeper came in the last minute. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, definitely. Sal, Messi fans don't want to admit the World Cup to anything. They won't admit it, mate. But I've spoken to some very, very, very important people that the World Cup was. And I actually believe that if France scored that last minute goal, you remember the one where I think it was Mawani went through and he hit the goalkeeper, Emi Martinez. I believe if France scored that, they would have made Argentina score. I believe that they would have ensured that Argentina equalised. I really do think that. You know what? When you're rigging a game, for example, in regards to football, it's very difficult to rig. But what you can do, you can give the team that you want to win the biggest opportunity to win, i.e. the handball against Holland. That should have been a yellow card and red card. That would have equaled a red card, which meant that Messi would have been sent off and would have gave Holland a great opportunity to go to the next round, of course, guys. But obviously, they didn't give it for whatever reason. I've seen Messi elbow people. I've seen him do that, and I've seen him get the foul. I mean, and this is not a conspiracy theory. This is something that I've been watching for many, many years. The Messi thing, I don't know whether it's because he put his head on a certain wall. I don't know what it is, but there is a couple of things there that are a little bit sinister, in my opinion. Absolutely. All Premier League managers should just go back to playing 4-4-2 and bring back sexy football. Big up, Samuel. That would be lovely. It'd be great to have the wing back position sorted out again, wouldn't it? Great to have wingers and the good old fashioned 4-4-2, right wing, left wing. That'd be absolutely fantastic. So, Jeremiah. Sal, do you think we are going to get and make any significant signings this January? Because Man United don't normally use the winter. Can I be honest with you, Jeremiah? What I would say is that if gun to head, someone said to me, are Man United going to make major business this January? I would actually say no. I think the only thing that I can envision Man United doing is probably Conor Gallagher loan, something like that, bringing a Conor Gallagher. If push comes to shove, what's the possibility of Man United getting another midfielder in regards to João Gomez, someone like that? Maybe a João Gomez, because João Gomez won't break the bank. He's a good player, Portuguese, played with Cunha before. Maybe a João Gomez, but other than that, if I'm thinking realistically, gun to head, I think it will be probably a Conor Gallagher, or in my opinion, guys, I really do. Bobby. 4-4-2 and 4-1-1 are the preferred. 4-4-1-1. Yeah, the 4-4-1-1, by the way. 4-4-1-1 was basically almost invented by Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson wanted to have an extra man in that midfield when we were playing in the Champions League because he felt that Man United were exposed in the Champions League. So we did play the 4-4-1-1. I remember that because I remember that Ruud van Nistelrooy is playing, and I'm not sure who was there. I think it's Ruud van Nistelrooy. I'm not sure if it was Rooney as well there. Hello, Kevin. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, Alice. I hope you're doing well. Crying out for midfielder. Me too, brother. Me too. You telling me, mate. You're telling me. Ineos should sell Bruno Fernandes to Al Nassr. I don't know if they're going to do it now. I actually think Bruno's going to retire at Man United. I don't know what you guys think, but you know what, guys? I want to ask you guys the question. I want to ask you guys, is Bruno Fernandes a Manchester United legend? Now, I want you to understand this, guys. I want you to remember what a Manchester United legend is. And we're talking about players that have played for, in the past, i.e. Bobby Charlton, Eric Cantona, Paul Scholes, Ryan Giggs. I want you to know what a real legend is in Man United. And I want to ask you this question. Is Bruno Fernandes a Manchester United legend? Now, we have to look at this objectively. We have to look at this from a point of view of looking at our other legends at the football club who've come before him, and we have to balance it out and say, okay, Bruno Fernandes coming at an era which is bad for Man United, not the best era in the world that we've ever had. Bruno Fernandes has been probably our best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson, but is he a Manchester United legend? Bruno Fernandes, yes or no, guys? Let me know. I think he's a great, not a legend. I agree with Bobby here. I think he's a great, not a legend. I think this is very mature. I think this is perfect because there is such a thing as a great. There's good, great, and a legend, and there's elite. So I think that there's good, i.e. good would be like a Gary Pallister kind of player, that type of player. A great would be like, Bruno Fernandes, David May, players like of that ilk. They're great players at Man United. Maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer are great. And then you say, you go on to the world-class, the elites, which is Eric Cantona, Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, Paul Scholes, and things like that, But then you get to that's the elite. I think Bruno Fernandes goes in between great and legend, sort of great and legend. I think he's like great, and I don't think he's a legend. Legend, obviously, is Cantona, Scholes, Keane, Irwin, Schmeichel. Those are legends for me. And the reason they're legends, right? And this is not any downplay on Bruno Fernandes at all. But the reason these players are legends is because they actually did it. They wore the t-shirt, they did it, they made it happen. And that's what I would say. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. No, I think he must win the Premier League or Champions League. Absolutely, RG. Has to. If he wins one big trophy with this Man United team, I have no doubt putting him in the legend category. But at the moment, he was the captain of the ship that came 15th last season. There's a lot of overly giddiness in regards to Player FC. I'm not a Player FC's kind of guy. I'm a Man United FC guy. You know, I like players. I like certain players, but I want to look at things from a realistic point of view. Do we have enough world-class players? Is Bruno Fernandes world-class? In my opinion, can I be honest with you guys? Right now, is Bruno Fernandes world-class? I think he's capable of world-class moments. And I think that's different. I think there's a difference between a world-class player and a player capable of world-class moments. I think he's capable of world-class moments, which is why I don't put him in a legend category. Because, I don't put people in a legend category easily because I look at players that are legends at Man United. I look at the players over the years that have played for Man United, that have achieved massive things at Man United. Do you know what I mean? So where do you differentiate where Duncan Edwards and Bobby Charlton and George Best, they're legends of the club? Do you put Bruno Fernandes in that same category? Do you put him in the same sentence as those guys? You know? Great servant. I agree with SLD. He's a great servant. Yes. Maybe he's between a great and cult hero. I think so. I think SLD's got it perfectly here. I really do think SLD got it as a cult hero. Yeah, great and cult hero. And I think there are many cult heroes at Man United over recent years. Not greats, but they were cult heroes. Herrera, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Those sort of players were kind of cult heroes, you know? When you think about it. Cult hero is like Valencia. Tonio Valencia. He's a bit of a cult hero, wasn't he? You know, you get that sort of vibe, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But he is between a great and a cult hero. I think that is a good one. I think that is a very, very, very good one. Absolutely. Big up SLD. Jeremiah, post-Alex Ferguson era is arguably the best signing, but with no big trophy to his name yet. I don't see him as a legend yet. He is a great player. Yeah, I agree with Jeremiah here. I agree with Jeremiah. Very good to see you, Jeremiah. Very good comments, my friend. Yeah, I agree with Jeremiah. We can't put him in that legend character because I do think the word legend, it gets thrown away too easily. It gets thrown away too easily. The only people who with chest say that Bruno Fernandes is a Manchester United legend are the people who don't understand what Man United is. They're the people who don't study what Man United is or understand who Man United are. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Samuel, Bruno Fernandes isn't a Manchester United legend. Brian Robson was a Manchester United legend. Exactly. So where do you differentiate that? Now, this is why I like to cut the legend thing and bring in the elite to the equation. So there's a legend and then there's elite. So I would actually say that Brian Robson's elite. I would actually say Peter Schmeichel's elite. Roy Keane's elite. Ryan Giggs is elite. Wayne Rooney's elite. Roy Keane is elite. Paul Scholes is elite. Andy Cole is elite for me. You know, and David Beckham is elite. I think these are elite. And then I think there's a next category, legend. And I think that the legend category comes in like, you know what, almost elite, but not quite elite. And that for me goes to legends like Dennis Irwin, who's a Manchester United legend. I won't even say that Dennis Irwin is an elite. Gary Neville is a Manchester United legend. I think Dennis Irwin be elite. Gary Neville is a Manchester United legend, of course, guys. Players like that, Gary Palace, the legend, Steve Bruce, legend. You know, these kind of players are legends. Maybe Paul Ince is a legend. I know he went to Liverpool, but maybe he's a Manchester United legend. You know, Owen Hargreaves may be a Manchester United legend. The people who won the Champions League. You know what I mean? Cristiano Ronaldo is an elite player as well. I hope Bruno wins the Premier League without Sal. It's a dream. I hope so as well. I really do. Bobby, FA Cup to me is a big trophy. Talk of the devil, yes. The FA Cup is a big trophy, but I don't think you can differentiate what a legend is with the FA Cup because the FA Cup is based around a lucky draw. You know, luck on the day, VAR decision, stuff like that. So just like I don't believe that you're the GOAT because you won the World Cup, I don't believe you are necessarily a legend because you won the FA Cup. Because the likes of Wigan and as we know last season, Crystal Palace have won the FA Cup. You know, so at the end of the day, look, you know, it's great to win the FA Cup, but you've got to do it consistently. Man United used to be a team that was serial winners and stuff. You know what I mean? There were serial winners back in the day, you know. Big up Yasser TV. What's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream, my guy. I hope you're doing well. Absolutely good to see the legend Yasser. Don't forget to Yasser TV. If you like Chelsea content, he's your guy. Absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe to him. It's always good to get a different perspective about football. Do you know what I mean? What category would you put Ronnie Johnson be in? Legend, Samuel. And the reason I put Ronnie Johnson as a legend, just like I put Henning Berg as a legend, guys, look, I'm not going to mention every player, but Stam is an elite player. I know Stam's an elite player. Rio Ferdinand's an elite player. I put Ronnie Johnson in the legend category, just touching the elite, because I know that these players are incredibly underrated because the great thing about Ronnie Johnson is that Ronnie Johnson could play defense, he could play midfield, and he contributed heavily in the 98-99 season treble. He did. He was one of our best players. Let's be real. He could play right back, left back, centre back, midfield, and not drop his performances. And I do believe that he's incredibly underrated. I really do, guys. Absolutely. Hello, Ellen. What's going on? Hope you're doing well. You always stream on the way to another work. It's you. It's not me. It's you, Ellen. It's not me. It's you. You have to believe that. It is you. Dan, Sal, a Man United legend as to win numerous trophy, win the club. Bruno is far from right now. Dan, we have to be objective. And, you know, I am legend towards your opinion. I do think that is true. I think we throw the legends category, the legend status out far too easy, like chocolate. We just throw it out. You know what I mean? Have that, you know, like candy. And I think that Bruno is a cult hero. I like that word, and a great at the moment. If he retired today, he would be known as a Man United great, a cult hero. That's what it is. But I do believe that if you're a Man United player, we have to live up to standards, right? We have to live up to standards. Just like I believe you have to win the Champions League to be deemed an elite football team. I'm sorry, Arsenal. But if you want to be deemed an elite football team, you have to win the Champions League, not once, but twice. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. I'm very picky when I pick players that are deemed legends or deemed elite, because as people say, when I go on other channels, when I'm talking about players, when I'm talking about great players, you know, I have in my head the past. I have Andy Cole, I have David Beckham, I have Ryan Giggs, I have Roy Keane, I have all these players in my head at the same time. And then I'm looking at the current crop of Man United players, and I'm looking at them and going, nah, they're not really elite for me. They're not legends at the moment. None of them are. They're good players. They're good. They're good. That's about it. But great players, world-class players, legendary players, consistently push it and break barriers, guys. Absolutely. Is Steve McLaren a Jamaican legend? I mean, I love these press conferences, by the way. Absolutely. One love. Absolutely. No. He didn't qualify Jamaica for the World Cup, but good luck to Jamaica. Big up the Reggae Boys, by the way. They obviously, and let me just say congratulations to Carousel. They qualified for the World Cup. Well deserved. Smallest nation ever to qualify for the World Cup, by the way. Fantastic for them, and fantastic for Haiti. Fantastic for Curacao. Great. You know, it's great we have these teams. I think we should put more African teams in the World Cup. I think we should put more Middle Eastern teams in the World Cup. You know, more Central Asian teams in the World Cup. There needs to be more. But, you know, congratulations to them. Obviously, Jamaica are not out yet, as far as I'm aware. Jamaica do have to play a playoff, but unfortunately, I don't know who Jamaica are going to play. They're not going to be playing a team from their continent. Of course, they're going to be playing another team from somewhere else, which is a shame. I don't believe, like, when I look at the South American qualifiers and I see that 6 teams go through automatically, the 7th team goes to a playoff, and that 7th team, which is Bolivia in this case, is gone to the Middle Eastern qualifying, so they're going to end up playing Iraq. You know, which I feel is unfair on Iraq. You know, I feel that's unfair. You know, I really do. So, look, you know, Australia, America, and obviously South America do get an easier rub of the green when it comes to World Cup qualifiers and that. Jeremiah, the FA Cup is a major trophy, but not in the category as the Premier League or the Champions League. Yeah, and you can't be deemed a legend if you win the FA Cup. You can't. I mean, unless you're, for example, unless you're a Wigan player, unless you're a player who plays for Crystal Palace, then you'll be a Crystal Palace legend if you win the FA Cup. You'll be a Wigan legend if you win the FA Cup, because at the end of the day, they're not expected to win FA Cups and League Cups. Man United is a given. Man United should be winning these trophies. It's not smart, it's not arrogant, but Man United should be winning these type of trophies, of course. And that's what I would say, absolutely. Absolutely, Jeremiah. Big up, Jeremiah. Great to have you on board, my friend. So he's not a legend, he's a great player. Agreed with you, Ephraim, absolutely. Mark Gui, great. We can take him off Liverpool hands. Now, look, Mark Gui is an absolute generational player. He's on a free transfer at the end of the season. So, guys, look, you know what? Mark Gui had a lucky escape, not going to Liverpool. It's a lucky escape for him. It was a lucky escape for him. Maybe Man United can do a deal, but he's going to have many teams after his signature, obviously being a free transfer. Given how good Mark Gui is, he's going to be a free transfer. So many teams are going to be after him, of course. So it's going to be difficult. Sammy, we have to qualify for Europe. That's what Man United have to do. Man United have to qualify for Europe. We have to qualify for the Champions League. That's what we have to do. Queen's Park Rangers could do with the Steve McLaren as one of their coaches. Experience is very good. Queen's Park Rangers, QPR. I haven't heard about them in a long, long time. Look, I come from a generation where Queen's Park Rangers obviously had Ray Wilkins and Les Ferdinand and Trevor Sinclair. And Gallen, remember him? They had some good players. Remember that Tarat as well? What a player he was. You know, very underrated. This is the attitude at the problem, isn't it? And but yeah, Queen's Park Rangers used to be a decent. Loftus Road, good old Loftus Road, man. Absolutely. If Bruno stays and wins the Premier League or Champions League trophy as a captain, then he might be legend status. He will be. I believe, and I'll be honest with you, Dan, I believe that any Man United captain that lifts that European Cup should be deemed a captain, should be deemed a legend. And the reason is because we've only won it 3 times, in our history. And if he lifts that trophy, he's a legend. Just like David May, just like these players. Jonathan Greening lifted a Champions League. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, when you think about that, Sal, do you think Ineos will ship all the players who are not good enough to play for United? I hope so, mate. I hope so. Licha Martinez smiling in training. Great to hear. Good to hear. We need him back. We do. Absolutely. Samuel, Zidane Iqbal plays for Iraq. Yes. Absolutely. Big up Zidane Iqbal, by the way. Legend. Not, he ain't a legend, but I'm saying that metaphorically speaking. Lacey and Naguasi there too. Big up, my friend. Big up. Look, what I would say is that Shea Lacey needs to be given a little bit of opportunities in this team. Even if it is the squad, he needs to be given some opportunities in the squad. I really do think that. And look, what I would say is that Shea Lacey, even if he got 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. I really do think that with Shea Lacey. There's a few of them. There's Musa, there's JJ Gabriel, of course, as well. There's Ibrahimov, there's Tyler Fletcher, those players. There, Kalungi, of course, as well. Kalungi's been called up to Congo, by the way. Kalungi may be going to the Congo for the AFCON. He may be playing for Congo for the AFCON. So we're going to lose another defender there. Great. You know what I mean? I know he hasn't played yet, but at the end of the day, the squad is going to be thin, isn't it? We need as many players that we can possibly muster, of course, guys. I don't think we have enough players, of course, guys. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys. Yeah. Kalungi will be going to Congolese national team. Guys, absolutely. So, look, lots of things are going to happen, guys. Lots of transfer rumors, lots of ins and outs, and lots of speculation as well. We have to differentiate between the real and the fake. And hopefully, Manchester United bring in a couple of players in January. That would be absolutely fantastic. That would be legendary. Absolutely. Because we need it. Ruben Amorim needs it. Ineos need to prove that they're backing Ruben Amorim and not just speak about it. They need to prove that they are backing Ruben Amorim to the max, guys. Absolutely. Guys, nice early show. I want to thank everyone who's joined me today. I really appreciate everyone in the stream. Guys, don't forget to smash a like on the video, please, guys. Really appreciate everyone who's joining. Don't forget to smash a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All that generous, lovely stuff, of course, guys. Really appreciate every single one of you. It's to keep it Stretford Post. When the Man United news, all about Stretford Post. SLD, we still need a goalkeeper to compete with Lamens. I can't watch Onana and Bayanda anymore. Bayanda had a good game yesterday against Spain. Spain and Turkey drew 2-2. Obviously, that was for the top place. Spain qualified for the World Cup, of course, and Turkey qualified for the playoffs. Bayanda had a decent game, had a few good moments in the game. But they are going to be moved on. Onana and Bayanda will be moved on. Manchester United are incredibly happy with Sané Lamens at the moment, and they're not gonna sway away from Sané Lamens. Vitek will be coming back to the football club, so hopefully, potentially, he could be battling Sané Lamens for that number 1 spot, and that's only healthy competition at the end of the day. It's healthy competition, and it'd be great. You know what I mean? Thank you, Bobby. You're an absolute legend, my guy. One love, Steve McLaren. Absolutely, one love, Steve McLaren. Steve McLaren, he doesn't age, does he? Does Steve McLaren actually age? Steve McLaren, 1998-99 assistant manager, guys. Big part of Man United's training during the 98-99. Big, huge part of it, guys. I'm back. I had to go out. 31 likes, guys, come on. Let's try. If you haven't smashed a like yet, let's try and get to 40 likes right now, guys. Come on, guys. Let's get to 40 likes. 50 likes is obviously preferably, but let's get to 40 likes first. And let's see where we go from there, of course, guys. RJ, Sal, what's wrong with Ugarte? I don't know. Obviously, Ruben Amorim was asking the question, what's happened to Ugarte? He's not the same player as he was at Sporting Lisbon. And he's not, because when he was at PSG, he had one of the best ball recovery tackling records in Europe. So what's happened to Mr. Ugarte? I don't know. All that matters is that he's been at Man United long enough and he needs to hurry up and pick it up. He really does, because we need him. It's as simple as that. We need him. And when the AFCON comes, we're going to need him even more. We can't just rely on Casemiro. Say something happens to Casemiro, touch woods. If something happens to Casemiro, we're in a bit of trouble again, innit? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, guys. Absolutely. Big up SLD, absolute legend, of course. Stan, Sal, there's some big names this weekend, and United once again have a great chance to get into that top 4. The big games, yeah. There's some big games, yeah, absolutely. Man United, hopefully Man United don't blow it this time. Hopefully Man United do it. I think we will beat Everton. I think we'll beat Everton quite comfortably. But we'll be doing my match preview very, very soon, guys. So I'll be doing that, picking my lineup, picking my prediction for the game, etc. I can't wait for it. And finally, Premier League football's back. Unfortunately, Man United have to wait a little bit longer, and I have to wait until a 12 a.m. kickoff because I'm in the UAE and 4 hours ahead of England. So I have to wait a little bit extra for that and obviously do the midnight kickoff again, guys. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's sad, but it is what it is at the end of the day, guys. But it is, when it touches 12 a.m., it is technically my birthday. So the 25th of November is my birthday. So hopefully we kick off my birthday in perfect style, which is a win for Manchester United against Everton. That'd be absolutely perfect, guys. I would love that. Guys, absolutely. It's not the first time we played Everton on my birthday, though. It's a little bit of a coincidence. We have played Everton a few times on the 25th of November. Absolutely. I mean, strange as it is, but it is what it is, guys. But yeah, I will be doing a watch along on Monday, stroke Tuesday, which will be 12 a.m. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to having Premier League football back, guys. Really am. But guys, I want to thank everyone. It's a little bit short show. I have to do a couple of things, but I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Really appreciate every single one in the house. It's been a lovely stream, guys. 35 likes, guys. Look. I don't want to go anywhere until we get 40 likes, guys. Can we smash that like button, guys? Can we smash that like button? Have you smashed the like button, guys? Have you? Let me just have a look at who's smashing the like and who's not. I can find out, you frauds. Let me have a look. Let's have a look who's smashing the like, who's not smashing the like and whatnot. Absolutely. Let's see. Of course. Buddy, bada bing, buddy, ba. Let's have a look. Bum. I'm loving it. Gonna have a look here. Stretford Post. And let's get the live stream, blah. And doesn't say, not yet. Anyway, but I want to see what the poll says. I want to see what the poll. Yes, not yet. Nobody is new. Oh well. Never mind. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining me. Absolute diamonds. Thank you so much, guys. I will be back tomorrow for obviously Breaking Dawn, of course, guys. Detective Sal, I'm looking at you, guys. I'm watching you, guys. I have to, guys. Someone has to, done it. Someone has to keep you in place, guys. Someone has to make sure that you're clicking the likes. Very important for the stream, guys. Helps with the algorithms and stuff like that. YouTube loves the algorithm. This is the algorithm of the night. Oh, yeah. The algorithm of the night. Absolutely. But yeah, 37 likes, guys. 37 likes. Come on, guys. Let's push it to 40. Come on. Let's push it to 40. I feel like Michael Jackson in Earth Song. Come on. Like, you know what I mean? What about yesterday? Yeah. I mean, I do need that, guys. I do need 40 likes. Come on, guys. We need to get to 40 likes. And then we can move on to 50, maybe later on in the nights, lurking in the shadows. Someone might give a cheeky like here and there, guys. But yeah. Guys, really appreciate you guys. Anyway, regardless, thank you. I will be back tomorrow for Breaking Dawn. Have a great evening, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Stretford Post, and it is, of course, Chatterbox, guys. So take it easy, guys. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. I'm Sal Warner. This is Stretford Post. Enjoy yourself. Peace.